April 10th, 50 degrees. We have had multiple frosty nights. And to Wiggins Farm, this is a Maxine pear. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Boom. So, I got this on my maps inside the house, but Maxine pear, needs an updated tag. And it's grafted onto a Bradford pear. And if you look right there, that's the Bradford pear rootstock. You can see right there where it's grafted onto the Bradford pear. This is called hardware cloth. Get that stuff off of Amazon, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, doesn't matter. Wrap the base of your tree. It protects for rabbits. By the way, I'm gonna go through some info. So, wrap the base of your tree with that. It protects the tree from rabbits girdling it, which they will do in January. And then you have voles. If you can get it down to the ground just a little bit, that protects against the voles digging underground and eating the root. They love eating tree seedling roots, nuts and fruits. And it helps with the mice when it snows, because the mice will tunnel underneath the snow. So I mean, it's just, you know, that simple little cheap thing. You can get a 50-foot roll for next to nothing, like 20 bucks. Cut it up in size, about a foot tall. There you go. So this is a Maxine pear. Look at that big old tree. My goodness, look at them blooms. So see, these ones have already opened, and I am not a pear tree breeder, but if you look, you can see how some of them, the parts are black, and I don't know if that's because they got froze or if they got fertilized, but some are just opening. Look at how pretty those ones are right there. Now I can't really see my phone screen, so I'm just kind of assuming you're seeing. Let's see here, we have a nice little fire on the switchgrass. Just go ahead and burn down some of this to restart it. Get rid of these woodies. Let's see, are there any woodies I can show? Because, yeah, right there. See that grapevine? So, it's toast. It got burnt on the, yeah, it's done. So that kills all that and resets the habitat. There was supposed to be a burn line here, and it kind of got away from the where it was supposed to burn. But didn't lose that tree, but that pine tree might have got roasted. But if you do prescribe burns, see I have my backup line and even a third line over there. But it just got hot enough, it just got right into here, just toasted it. And yeah, that white pine's dead. But look at the woodies down there, how it kills the cambium layer on the outside. See that? It's all black, that's dead. Now it might come up from the root, but it doesn't have all that energy. If you have cedar trees, it toasts them nice. Another white pine. But that one's fine. It's just gonna be all thin on this side for a couple years. But let's see here. So if you want to take a look at some of the damage, if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, and half that tree's probably dead now. So if you look, all the things that are green right now shouldn't probably be here. Fescue is a cool season grass from Europe. Clovers are from Europe. Honeysuckle from Europe. See these trees right here are just starting to leaf out? That's native, that's dogwood. But see all the honeysuckle filling in? So it's a constant battle. I hate honeysuckle. Shouldn't hate, but I despise it to the greatest amount. You have to respect it, because if you don't keep treating it, it's coming in. Now don't get me wrong, here in about a week or two, all these honeysuckle for any honey hive that wants to go out and get nectar, those are going to be a huge nectar source. It's a great honey, but I could eradicate the stuff off of my property. There's about 50 acres of habitat here. And the bees just go to neighbor's property because it just takes over because of monoculture. See how it kills everything down below? Everything's dead. As you come out with our sunlight, but it also, my understanding, puts off a chemical. So what are you gonna do? You know, kill it. But back to the Bradford pear. This is not a Bradford pear. This, actually, that's kind of funny. I'm gonna tell my buddy this. This is a wild plum. Notice that the blooms are a little bit different. Did you get that sound, man? Check. So let's see here. What's funny about this tree just in particular is, see how that wood down there? My buddy Seth helped me plant this about 8 years ago, and we jokingly said, oh, look at this hollow log, we'll put it here to protect this tree. And here's the tree. The log is broke down. So that, and then there's a walnut tree right there. I can graft that with a, matter of fact, I got a bunch of scion from England's nursery this year. So me and a couple buddies, we went down there, and I don't know what juggling I'm going to graft it with, but I will graft it with something. Walnut to walnut. You can also graft heart nut, butternut, Caucasian. Yeah, anyway, because they're all the same or in the family. But I don't know what the quality of that fruit will be, but I know the bees are all over it, which is, again, a helper for me because I like my honey. And then, oh, there she is, coming back. So let's see what else we got here. There's some oaks, tulips. I planted a bunch of tulips. I like morel mushrooms, and it produces a really good honey, and it's a good timber tree. And so if you're gonna get rid of the honeysuckle, you gotta put something there because all the seed bank is empty of natives nowadays. And so I just go out and I just, you know, you can get seed for nothing. Or tree, yeah, anyway. So this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. This is a perfect specimen. So I was down in England's nursery last year. Was it last year? Cliff? It was either last year or the year before. And I got scion for Raja pear. Raja? Some Asian pear. So if you need any of that stuff, get a hold of Cliff down there in England's nursery in Kentucky. But right here is the root stock of the Bradford pear. See that thorn? I don't know. Yeah, see that thorn right there? I got one of them on my feet yesterday. It hurt. And graft it with an Asian pear so you don't have to deal with all the diseases, hopefully. We did just get a couple nights of heavy frost. That's probably why it's all burned up. Actually, that is why it's all burned up. I keep an eye on my pear trees because fire blight's an issue in this area, and if I graft anything that's not Asian pear, I'm very susceptible to it. Cut it out when I see it, burn it, eradicate it. So, yeah, so now I made something out of nothing here. Now look, all these pear trees that are planted, they weren't planted. They're just Bradford pears that unfortunately showed up on my property. If they show up in the paths, they get mowed. If they show up in the right spot, I'm going to graft them. And what I do with these is a couple things. One, I like to eat pears. Two, you can make all your pear sauce or, you know, jar them if you want. But realistically, I want them because deer. I love my deer. I like my deer to be fat, dumb, and happy. And I want them to have everything in the world to choose from. And if I had 20 deer that wouldn't eat my trees every single chance they got, because they love to eat these leaves. But, yeah, it's kind of cool when you see the little ones. Anyway, so here's Shin Lee, grafted once again on a Bradford pear. Has a metal tag. There's a machine you can get on Amazon. That's the biggest thing with grafting is documentation. Document it 3 times, you'll be okay. This doesn't need this anymore because I put the tag on it already. You can get, you know what, I'm going to tell you what. If you get tape, you get on Amazon for marking stuff, you're going to grafted to so you can come back so it sticks out. But also, and this is a free plug, these things, you got to get. I got a whole bucket. I'm going to do a video or something just to show my buddies of all the junk ones I bought. I bet you this thing has probably been through 10,000 whatever. I mean, because it just doesn't go dull, stays sharp, it feels right. It's really doesn't hurt your hands. It's perfect. And then get one of those, Cliff. Maybe I'll just get you one. Send it. Oh no. Anyway, I got that on Amazon. This has been fit snug in there. I haven't had any issues. And so if you're walking on your property, let's say you have maybe an acre, you just put that on your hip, trim as you go. Happy little trees, as Bob Ross would say. All right, so this tree is Hwasun. So look, this is, if I can get my shadow so I can actually see. Okay, so I think, yeah. If it focuses right, which I can't tell if it is, some of them, I think they're called pistils, or burn up from the cold, or they're fertilized, or these ones just opened because they didn't open until post the frost. And that's great because all the Bradford pears, they bloomed last week and they got burnt up. So now I have 2 to 3 weeks of bloom time for my bees, and every year it's going to get more and more prolific. So I'm giving them different amino acids and different types of nectar / pollen, because they need both. And I don't know what these trees actually provide. It looks like there's pollen right there, but or in what amount. But you know, that's just making something out of nothing. And I mean, you can buy this tree right here. I don't know where you'd buy it. I get the genetics from Cliff, but a tree that size at Menards, I mean, I would expect them to have a $200 price tag on it. But if you planted it, the roots would be junk because they would have cut all the roots. So you'd have to cut it way back anyways. So, you know, you can graft Bradford pear up to whatever size. You just gotta, for every 3 inches, you put an extra stick of scion wood, and then down the road you keep the best branch. So yeah, that's what all these are. They're just making something out of nothing, and I'm really hoping to get to taste a lot of these because this will be the first year I get fruit. Like, I've grafted this tree 4 different times on the property. Sanguinoli, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll butcher it, but I know I've got it grafted 3 different times. Just backup of genetics. And I mean, look, it grows great. I have no problems. Now I do have the rootstock here. I'm going to have to trim it off, but the reason I'm leaving these 2 low suckers here for the moment, because the deer and the spikes, they don't like them, so they don't come in and eat these off. And then eventually I'll keep these, remove those, and as you can tell, it stopped suckering. Once you're in the 3rd year, it stops suckering. I mean, you might get here or there, but it's nothing. And so you're, once again, getting something, you know, if you have a hunting spot, you just graft them anytime from here to, like, you can go into July. I wouldn't recommend it, but pears are pretty susceptible to, or they're pretty strong. So here's wild plum post bloom. There's a elm I copiced, which means I'm trying to get these long whips. It's something they do back in the day, how to make baskets and stuff. I just wanted to see what the genetics would do, what it would do if I did it. So, something else I'll do is I will take the branches. That's one of my, doesn't matter what kind of stick it is, but you want to get it to form. I'm trying to get it to form these skinny paths because why not? I don't need to be in everywhere. Then I got over here, Cliff. I got some chestnut. They're not doing their best. Another pear. So if you come out to your pears, even if you bought one, you need to locate where the graft is. Right there's the graft. And you have to get rid of these suckers. Otherwise, the energy will stop going up here. Now see, I'm letting that thing get way up high. What I ought to do, maybe not, I don't know, cut it right about here. But I didn't. And I'm not going to because I don't have my alcohol or my peroxide for my shears. Apple trees. Herbst blood pear. Got that from England. There's a chestnut, but it's not grafted. It has to be grafted, but the way of grafting them, I guess, is a lot harder. So that's a new challenge to try. Got grafted walnuts to the left. Ooh, yeah, let's show that. All right, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, I do not like them. Okay, so this is a black walnut in the juggling family. All black walnuts are juggling, but not all juggling are black walnuts. Black walnuts native to the United States. And what I did was I took EH1, which is a variety. I don't know where it's from. Got it from England. Got it from Cliff. And I already have it grafted onto a different tree, and then from that grafted tree, I cut off scion, grafted this one just because it was in the right spot to not remove. So this graft is perfect. This is what I want right here. So this was done last spring. You know what, the sun's probably in. Let's go ahead and readjust. Yeah, this is better. All right. There's a graft. And there's a graft. And there's a graft. So zooming out, what I'm gonna do, should do, is remove that branch right there and remove that branch right there and possibly even cut those things off and just let that one grow. And then if everything heals up the way it should in 3 years, I'll have nuts off this tree and it'll get huge. But I just don't want that scion to break off and set me back another year. So I'm gonna go ahead and just leave them be, let them all grow, and then next year I'll trim it back even more so. So there's my pear. So 3 inches, yeah. So walnuts are really hard to graft. You gotta bleed them because the blood kills the scion. I don't know why. And yeah, you can cut it off, let it hang. And I guess these ones, I cut so many spots and bled it out so much that it just allowed these grafts to succeed. That's really cool. I mean, if you graft 30 walnuts and you see what happens down the road, you start to realize it's not the easiest thing to graft. Pears and apples and persimmons, all you gotta do is just hold it there long enough. So for deer hunters, this would be great because it's not an orchard. It is an orchard, but you know, I'm hoping one day, you know, I baby them as much as any orchard, except for I don't kill all the weeds with herbicide, which I really don't want to do. And I don't like goats in here because they'll eat everything. So I bush hog it, and it's full of wildflowers. And eventually I'll find an easier way to do things, and that's what you have to have. You know, it's too much work, so you have to do it the easiest way, but I just don't want to use herbicide. Yeah. Anyway, there's the bat house. Well, until next time, this is just a little walk in the yard, and hopefully that was informational and helpful. Until next time, bye-bye.